Fight fans, welcome back.
Now what they gonna say? They always talk, I'm the best fighter in the world.
Canelo's all about show me the money, and then we'll get that big fight that everybody wants.
When whispers began, the idea of Canelo versus Crawford just felt like another pipe dream, a little like the what-ifs of Inoue facing Gervonta or Beterbiev moving up to challenge Usyk.
It's not going to happen. I guarantee you it's not going to happen.
Canelo Crawford.
It's not going to happen.
However, in 2025, money talks, and hypotheticals are becoming realities in front of our very eyes.
Tell him we're going for Canelo next.
Yes! Let's go! Canelo, come on!
Come on, let's go!
If you're a Crawford fan, you can put the pitchforks away, because a reverse of this video will be coming in the very near future.
Terence Crawford making it look way too easy! That's what Canelo's capable of. Wow.
But for now, we're being a little less optimistic. To give you 10 reasons why the Icarus effect appears to have Bud, a legend in his own right, flying a little too close to the sun.
I give him the offer. If he's smart, he will accept it.
Maybe this is gonna sound crazy for you, but a lot of Mexicans, they put you in the number one of pound for pound instead of Canelo. And if you see in the future, if you grow in weight division, a fight with the Mexican warrior.
I know he's got this. I know he's got this. I know he's got the character, and I know he's got the mind. I know he has special gifts that very few fighters have.
You know, Canelo's a tremendous talent. I respect everybody's opinion. And I don't never think me and Canelo will fight. He's 168, 175. You know, I'm just 147, so I'll never see that fight ever really happen.
Let's get the most obvious out of the way first. But let's also make one thing clear. This isn't just skill versus size, like some of boxing's biggest leaps of faith.
Anybody stepping up to fight Canelo, you have to use skills. He is a monster. You better put some respect on his name or you will be on your goddamn pockets. The boy is no joke.
It's skills versus skills and size.
Look at him slip all these shots. The hardest thing to do in the ring. Make the man miss.
And where Crawford is actually the taller of the two, with an additional 10 centimeters of reach, Canelo's much broader frame is fine-tuned at super middleweight and is comfortably rehydrated up to 185 pounds for fight night, time and time again.
Because a lot of people say, oh, he's a smaller guy, but he's bigger than me.
47, 154, everybody's bigger than me. I'm a small fighter. But I'm cabron.
Berlanga bulked up to 193 for Canelo, gaining 25 pounds by fight night, and still found himself unable to bully the bully.
Then you have an opportunity to do
So Bud's venture into unfamiliar territory, even with an inch-perfect weight plan, looks like a clear step too far.
And that's how you put a guy out.
I've heard conversation about how many times you want to fight moving forward. Do you have a number in mind?
It's not so much that age will play a factor. After all, despite being 3 years younger than Crawford, Canelo started his professional campaign 3 years earlier, and with 25 more fights to his name, he's certainly the more battle-worn of the two.
Less injuries piling up, less number of fights.
Less wars.
However, it is a matter of time.
If fight in September, it'll probably be next year. But that give me time to, you know,
bulk up.
Yeah, get my body right.
Is this a weight jump too much for Crawford or the right jump at the right time? We'll find out tomorrow.
We recently saw Usyk dominate a 50-pound heavier Tyson Fury, but this wasn't done overnight.
He believes he's got it. Usyk looks to the heavens, and the two of them.
It was a calculated heavyweight ascension done in stages against the correct opposition over a 4-year span.
Usyk knows what the heavyweight world's all about now.
And where time was on the Ukrainian side, a 37-year-old Terence Crawford won't be afforded that same luxury.
I mean, I can't see there's nobody else out there for you. I can't see. We talking mega fights.
So where a Charlo, even a Fundora, would have been a more logical next step, this time-sensitive plunge into the deep end with very little time to acclimatize, just got even more treacherous.
These are just not names that even gets out for a jog for. The only name he wants to fight is Canelo.
And now that they're in the ring, can you see the size advantage that Madrimov has, how wide his back is and his shoulders?
With that said, when Crawford did make his first step up against Israil Madrimov last August, things became even more uncertain.
At 154, he didn't really look too dangerous, Crawford, up in the ring. So imagine Canelo being the bigger guy, being the beast up in the ring. It's almost like a no contest.
Controversial to some, but the judges saw Crawford edge out a close-fought victory.
In his fourth weight class, but he has been met with stern resistance all night long.
Unfortunately, it was far from the emphatic statement that many expected. So far, in fact, that His Excellency announced a complete change of direction regarding Crawford-Canelo.
Apparently, Canelo Alvarez is no longer an option for Terence Crawford. Turki Al-Shi didn't go into details as to why he's no longer interested in the fight, but that was the biggest opportunity for Terence Crawford to make a big, huge amount of money.
But there's good and bad news.
It's not official, but it may be a done deal.
The good news is that Madrimov is a handful. He's unorthodox, tricky, and far more talented than most give him credit for. And it's a victory that could age like fine wine.
It was a super close fight. I believe when you come into that ring as champion, you've got to take the belt off that champion. Terence Crawford didn't do that.
The bad news is that long left hook, which comes around the guard. Madrimov found it.
That's the shot that you guys have been asking for.
And should Canelo find that same shot, it's curtains.
But the problem is now that he also has to prove that he can absorb one of Canelo's punches.
This is the big time for Canelo Alvarez. He's been here before, on top of the sport for 10 years.
Another past event, which provides another warning to Terence Crawford, was a night where an aggressive, undisputed king also missed the mark while daring to be great.
The fight is on! Undisputed world champion!
He ain't as big as I thought he was, though. You know, everybody want to make him seem like he like man, I'm like, felt like a 54 fight. Like we back at 54 or something together.
Crawford is much more creative and has more tools, and surely there's too much dog in him to go out like that.
I don't know if he was scared or not, but you know, Canelo did a tremendous job in there.
What did it look like for you in there tonight, Terence?
I'm different. Which one you want?
But Charlo does have more power. So where Crawford's only hope will be to make Canelo miss and then make him pay.
Oh, and Crawford just nails him!
The question remains, how much will he really have to pay if he does miss?
My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming.
So if you were outstrengthed at 154 against Madrimov, do you really want to go to 168 and fight the guy with arguably the best chin in the sport? I don't think it's a great idea.
Crawford has always had enough sting to keep people off, but he's never really needed to keep a Canelo at bay.
Sharp, accurate jab from Terence Bud Crawford.
Instead, he relies on timing, accuracy, and those shots you don't see coming.
He was just trying to, you know, do what he normally do, maul, and, you know, push me back. But I used my angles and, you know, I pushed him back at times as well.
The Canelo pressure and chin to match, however, will be a completely different ballgame.
Canelo said, I hope he has a good chin because he's going to need it.
It survived 36 rounds against the hardest puncher in the division, and even in his more recent fights, he's absorbed everything from some huge one. Crawford isn't going to hurt him, at least not in a slugfest.
And here comes Bud!
Instead, the keys to victory lie in the Mayweather and Bivol blueprints. That said, if Bud fails to assert himself or gain enough respect, he could quite easily become the latest addition to that ever-growing Canelo highlight reel.
Might be ready to go, and he's gone!
You can't stay focused 5 rounds and then take a rest against a strong puncher like this because it only takes one punch.
From that list of knockouts, there's one that stands out and it sets up the next segment perfectly.
I want to be fighting the best names and the biggest names in boxing. When that fight came, I said, I want that fight, and Oscar called me.
Amir Khan was another guy moving up that was tempted by the style matchup.
I want to caution you to keep this fight clean at all times, protect yourself at all times.
Fast, brave, and fundamentally sound, but he was another one that also learned the hard way just how hard Canelo hits.
Energy and everybody. And it ended the way almost everybody thought it would end, with a power shot by Canelo Alvarez.
Crawford fought the Brit 3 years later, and while who did it best comparisons rarely work because we know styles make fights, the Nebraskan also managed to get him out of there, albeit far less emphatically.
There's one gone in low, and that was significantly low, I think.
This fight's being stopped because of that.
Bud outclassed him and broke him down until that questionable shot. Canelo, on the other hand, sent him to the shadow realm.
A triple G kind of a knockout.
Another reminder of that mid to late round reality which haunts every ambitious Canelo opponent.
Canelo reminded him of that body shot and that pain.
Now for him, he wants to go for like Canelo. I would advise him not to go for that. But if he's the man and he knows how good he is.
The problem for most is that they've never really felt anything like it, especially at super middleweight.
Outside they say, it's easy. Oh, yes. But when they go inside, that's why they don't throw punches. Yes. It's different when they face me.
So where Crawford had a moment against Mean Machine,
What do we have here?
and was wobbled by Gamboa, he passed the Spence test with flying colors and soaked up some impressive shots from Madrimov.
Well, better be careful. Look at, there's another one, 3 in a row.
Crawford, who is used to dominating the competition, has a guy coming to him now.
Lateral movement and elusiveness reduces the danger of the overhand right that slept Khan and Kovalev.
All he was doing was trying to establish points and get points, but we knew it would come, and everything came out the way we had planned.
But the body shots and accumulation punches will be the real test. Bivol larger frame took the punishment, and Floyd's feet kept him out of trouble. Can Crawford's toolkit do the same, or will Bud's willingness to trade and his habit of taking one to give one lead to his own undoing?
You can't try to slip and roll all night with a Canelo. He's not gonna let you do it. He's too massive when it comes to his frame. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's a wide guy, and he don't have to slow his feet, so he'll catch up to you.
Fighters like that it's like a chess match, bro. You make the wrong move, you're gonna get fucking caught.
But the timing is impeccable. It's better than anyone else's.
Both men are amazing counterpunchers, and where Crawford's ability to punch in between his opponent's punches has always been a thing of beauty, maybe even his greatest strength,
He's too slow for you, bud.
it's also a place where Canelo excels, and it's a role that he's grown into more and more as his punch output and combinations have dwindled.
He steps back off of a straight right lead, which he's not afraid of, throws a right uppercut, then slips the left hook.
You'd likely give the edge to Bud in terms of speed, timing, and counterpunching as a whole. However, up at 168, it's all an unknown quantity.
You're holding on to 21 pounds of muscle, so your cardiovascular might be a little different. That's a whole nother f***ing animal.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time has come.
Madrimov found some success in being patient and trying to counter the counterpuncher.
This is just extreme patience for Madrimov.
But he was a little too patient. A confident Canelo sitting in the pocket could certainly make those moments count. And it'd be in far more clinical fashion.
You're the biggest star in boxing. Do you still believe you're the best fighter in boxing? Yeah. Why do you think that you've kind of dropped down on some of these pound-for-pound lists behind the Crawfords and the Usyks?
You should never look into public beliefs too much because Roger Mayweather was right.
More people don't know about boxing at all, period.
But the predictions and breakdowns for this one are a landslide, and even more so when you consider the opinions of those that matter. the fighters that are all too familiar with weight cuts, weight jumps, and weight difficulties.
You know, Crawford got the skills, but I'll probably go with Canelo.
I think Canelo wins that fight based on just the size.
My opinion is my opinion. Yeah. I don't think Crawford can beat Canelo.
He has a lot of disadvantages against him, so I feel like Canelo wins.
In women's boxing, Amanda Serrano did manage a successful 3-weight jump when she beat Heather Hardy. However, in the men's ranks, despite a few attempts, I don't think there's ever been a successful 3 or 4-weight jump, at least not on a licensed fight.
I mean, come on, when has a smaller, good guy ever beaten a good, bigger guy? It's never happened in the history of the sport. You know,
it's legacy, it's challenge, it's what we used to see in the 80s.
Nothing is impossible in the theater of the unexpected, but it would certainly be the biggest win of its kind and on the biggest stage imaginable.
Hey, they promised to deliver a fight that would be talked about for generations to come.
Who cares? It's still going to be a great fight. We're still all going to tune in to fight. We're all going to try to be part of that event because it's going to be huge.
When it was first mentioned, easy fight, easy money is how Canelo referenced the imaginary spectacle.
I think Crawford, don't get me wrong, he's a great fighter. But for me, in my weight class, it's an easy fight. For me, easy money.
And where it's certainly money that's allowed this fight to draw closer, these are two fighters that value the bigger picture just as much as their bank balances.
You know, he want to be considered the best boxer to ever lace up a pair of gloves.
So while the incentive of a big payday affords Bud a comfortable win-win scenario, the Mexican superstar won't have that same mindset.
Es un logro más para mi familia, para mi equipo, pero sobre todo para todos ustedes, para todo México.
After all, the same way a win launches Crawford into GOAT territory, a loss here puts a huge question mark on Canelo's career.
He has nothing to gain. He beats him. He's supposed to beat him. I'm 3 weight classes above this guy. He's never fought in this weight class. He beats me. This is Canelo speaking. And I look like a fool.
Fortunately, we're talking about a fighter taglined with legacy is earned and boxing is life. So any ideas of a fun jump up to test the waters will be met with a deadly serious reality.